Hi, how are you? Very good. Excellent. So good to hear. Me too. Okay, good. Should set something up. A little protection. So what are you talking about? Wouldn't you like to know? I hope so, because here we go. I'm gonna just, uh, I'm only here to talk about what I was talking about. Oh, okay, enough nonsense. But that's how you know uh, it's me. Hi, I'm Elliot, still and becoming. And thank you for being here with me. Thank you for trying like you're trying. There is no comparison to the way that you try for for what you for what you are more than anyone else. In this way, superiority and inferiority are equals in variations of relative depth and virtue of each other. So again, thank you. Because like extra thank you, like thanks everything. But thank you, you, because you and I are here together. So thank you for me. Oh, I miss you. Oh, thank you for saying hi, babe. Oh, I could stop now and be like, I said everything that needs to be said. Slash, I got a little gift. Uh, I missed you too, buddy. Oh, like really? Do you feel that? That's cool. That's super cool. Mm. um, oh, I'm gonna like, yeah, enjoy that. There's no rush. Mm. Uh, money, money, the monetary system. I've I got money on my mind, money on my mind. I don't have money on my mind, just love. Hmm. Yeah, I really actually super feel that, Tam. Oh, you're like hardcore, awesome, wicked. Like whatever, wherever we've been uh, on our own together, like I'm feeling some very real, like superhero vibes coming from you and coming to me. It's legit, awesome. So, high five on where we've been to be here. Um, the long and short of it, because I can speak at length and I have already, but it's always more about the monetary system. It's a silly thing and it's super obvious, at least to me, but it's easy to ignore. Like, okay, good, because your smile has been what I've been talking about. For rip, sin come from somewhere, came from everywhere. Um, and that is always a blessed interrupt. Interrupt? No, it's like the rupt. It's what we're here for. Oof. So, what's a debt-based economy? Just to give reference to what I'm talking about, all it means is that all the money is privately owned. Uh, all the money is privately owned and lent out at interest. So, uh, for every dollar borrowed by the Federal Reserve, Bank of Canada, or Bank of insert country's name here, uh, it is loaned. It is not given. It is not created as such. It's loaned, and that loan is due back to the creator of the currency at interest, usury. And so, by function of that fact, all the money produced in this way and participates in a monetary system that operates in this manner, then for there there's no more money to pay for the interest that was loaned out. Right? You can pay back all the money in the world that was loaned, which would be all the money, and then the loaners would be like, and you owe us, 15%. And be like, well, we don't have 15% because that's all the money. And I'm like, exactly. So we're going to take your real things now because you can't pay your debt. Where you live, where you could, your time, your energy, your resources. Like you. Hey. Don't get pissy. We loaned you the money at interest. And you agreed. Is, in short, the debt economy. And like the way that it works is a little bit more like fucked up than that, but that's besides the point of this share. The super deep, awesome insight that came, that might be like super obvious to like the compassionate hearts of the world. I say that a little tongue in cheek. It's just, I know that I can be a little rough and forgivingly unforgiving, or forgetfully unforgiving. I don't know. I'm a bit of a hard ass. And compassion that feels greater than mine inspires me and really makes me happy. So, and that's out there. I've seen it. So that's, again, superior, inferior, just different. Enjoying the lovely distraction of compassionate people. Everything has a divine root. If by divine in this way, we can mean all the ways that you mean it, and also in like the most physical way, the butterfly that flaps its wings and creates the tornado. It's a hurricane, Elliot. They're the same. They're not the same. I know. But it's everything kind of like you go back to the family, the disruption of the family, and then so much kind of comes out of that. Everything has its seed that grows into like the plant and thusly the fruit that it produces. So and I want to venture a little bit more like cosmically firmamental, that in the multidimensional nature of us and like simultaneous nows, there are what is parallel are emotions. What are parallel can be activities. What are parallel can be thoughts. It just depends on what kind of which of those, if I may say, bodies is being like either leveraged in a debt-paced divine economy, or utilized, accessed, strengthened, supported, whatever. So that kind of got a little bit wordy. So I'm gonna come back and like repackage that. Let's say, like, actually it's kind of pertinent because Saturn is coming back direct in a couple of days. In a couple of days, or in one day. Coming back direct is retrograde. Is that, just as a reminder, it never really changes its course. But if you look at something from a spiral, like it's going, whatever you call forward, it's going to look like it's going backwards until it goes forward again. And that's more or less retrograde. Now, this is affected by the electromagnetic like relationship between the planets, but yabba. Saturn can represent like the karmic backlog accrued through like energies and lives experienced in like World War II, World War I, that And so if we like chart Saturn's course over the lot since like the 80s and 70s, there's again, if we consider a spiral as well, there's a motion, an expansionary and a contractionary, sure, why not, motion that follow each other. So it's like, it's going big, and it's going towards the middle, and it's going to the middle, where it's going after that is going to get big again. So in that way, the World War II, the Atlantis Lemurian, the fucking Mars Maldek, fucking Uranus, or Apollo, Zeus, Kronos, Uranus, Nyx. You know, like there's these cycles of iteration, but if we just relax time and remember that things contract and expand, and then do all kinds of things that we just don't know because we're not appreciating the proper time scale. Like, who thinks of such a fucked up monetary system? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take anyone really. Like, this can be explained to like a 4-year-old. The debt monetary, like that's slavery. Like, that's a scam. Like, that's what pyramid schemes wish they could be. You know, like, it's like, doesn't matter what shape you are. And it's taken a great deal of deception and I don't know, sneakiness, whatever. There's like no judgment because I've got plenty, but I'll like harbor it. To convince the world to like really sign up en masse to something so foolish, so silly. Foolish is actually a great way to put it in this way. Anyways, moving on. It has to come from somewhere. So my deep understanding of a lot of the sexual predation between men and women, and so I'll say between women and men to encompass all directions. If you could imagine the first like just all it takes is like the first like man and woman represent, like energetic representation, like I want to say like saints or something, or just to keep it kind of away from other like myths or like mental environments, you know what I mean? Just to keep it kind of little sterile. So we work with just what we're talking about, not related to anything else. They're like, oh, look at this sex thing. And the way that they had sex was violent and without love. Like, their love for each other was so base and assumed that that sex was assumed too. And so it wasn't affectionate, but it was like pleasurable, right? It was lavish. It was all of those extremes, but that was like the first time they did it, and they thought they were doing it right, and that was their experience of it. Imagine like their progeny moving forward in time, being shaped just from that. I don't want to say right or wrong assumption, like if they were a first of anything, anything that would be like them would be forever kind of navigating that, not irretrievably, but that like just that one perspective has like a ripple. And so I want to venture that this debt-based economy that is stupid, like, isn't that stupid? It's a stupid idea, guys. Isn't that a stupid idea? That's a stupid idea. There's none of my songs about that. Like, it's even stupid for the people that own the money, because like they're kind of slaved to being those guys, you know? Like, it sucks all around. Who thought this through? Well, maybe like no one did, in like this kind of realm of being in this like simultaneous now. It makes no sense, but in another like simultaneous past or future or present, it's like whatever suits your boat. Sure. There was this notion of giving something that was already given, but claimed out of some fear. You know, I really, it's like this notion of owing back, and that time lends itself, like the notion of being paid for your time, basically. Maybe this is like the divine root of just wages, right? That we have to live, to work to live. Only you can't ask for more time than there is time. Not without someone losing time. And when someone loses time in like a unified field of consciousness, everyone loses time. And so the construct of the debt, the owing, the lender, is just that. It's a fictitious sense of control. It's a fictitious sense of surplus, held fictitiously by those that deign themselves like the lenders, in whatever frame of reference. And if we relax, it's the ramifications of it in our time, in our place. And imagine how something with such a simple beginning and understanding could have such a powerful effect. Then we can maybe together, and this is why I'm making this video, especially because it's especially sweet that you're here, Tim, because you're fucking super potent Mama Gemma, heart angel warrioress. It's like it doesn't take everyone. In fact, I think it could take us just to recognize that even in the formation of our of a better and like more natural, like basically if we just like let go of everything and then go from here, like we don't have to be geniuses. Any system is better than this system, and the best system is emergent. So like if anybody's watching this video and they're particularly interested in the formation or rather between technology and sociology um, and revolution and evolution and love. When it comes to like the pragmatics of creating a new like goodness as its like founding virtue, resources being everything in time, based economy of value exchange. Holler at me. But I'm not really good at just talking about things. But if you're like, I feel like I can do something about that, but I don't know more, that would be a cool conversation. And preceding that is this: there's a debt forgiveness that's being that we're asking for / we have to actually maybe give, because when we call back all of ourselves, and all of the good, the bad, the ugly, with the beautiful, right? It's like when we do harm to anyone and anything, no matter the motive, if it's coming from us or if we can just take responsibility for it, there's never an undoing of that. There's never, even as the world can be deeply recreated into something beautiful, that need not remember specifically the atrocities, to honor. I'm going to go ahead and say it, like the sacrifice of the evil. Because remember, we're talking about a unified field of consciousness as us, with us like units of individuation by distinction, because it's funner to love like each other. I think that we've gotten really good at just forgiving ourselves, at even being like, I don't even know all the bad that maybe I might be directly held responsible for, but like in like a divine multi-life, infinite soul kind of way. Especially because I'm like, fuck, I'm a good guy, man. And like, I'll take responsibility, but like, I don't want to think that I do bad things. Yeah, like nobody really wants to think that. So kind of going there and forgiving and finding it and just accepting, and I think is powerful. I know so. But there's this other element of being like, because if you put yourself on the forgiven side, and just like also and be like, I love, like I'm sorry. There's nothing all of me you have to return, like the goodness, the balance, the dynamism of loving, to whatever this being existence is, as the world turns. That like even with both sides mutually being like, oh yeah, at that point of there's like it's almost gonna seem like a never ending forgiving, because there's always more to forgive if we're coming from this usurred past. So in this moment, in this now moment, those of us that can feel into the void and feel into the isness, to accept to be what we've been being, right? And then also acknowledge the interest, the loss. Because unless we do, that never-ending cycle of forgiveness is never-endingly coming from our interest. I know that if you're to transcribe what I'm saying, it would sound really loopy. But that's what's wonderful about voice and resonance and what we are. That even you're like, I'm not relying on the sequence of words to understand what we're saying together. So forgive with me what we owe each other. Forgive what we owe ourselves. Forgive what we're owed. But only from what we can internalize and integrate into our now moment as balanced. Books are balanced, and then forgive, and then forget, and let there be never another debt in eternity from at least your vote of the soul. I feel that, like that, this is the very next now potent step towards releasing the inhibitions that hold us back from just doing things for each other, and refocusing not on stuff, but what we want to survive, what we want to live with, to live in. You know, how do we talk about relaxing concepts of privatization and the the silliness that is ownership? I wanted to write like, when did we start locking our doors? You know, when did our doors start being our doors? And in our forgiveness and understanding, and then I'm going to come to those words because they've been, but I'm a sucker for them, especially yours, because they're so good. I'm going to help do this as a person alive, however it kind of falls to me, and I'm going to catch it. But that's because like that stuff's fun for me. That is my fun, and I want to be there. So that's how like I kind of can arrive here. But we don't have to really worry about how it's all going to get done. But that takes believing in like a very pragmatic way that others want to follow through on effective simplicity in goodness, like as well and with you. And that takes really deciding that that is the way that we are, that you are, that I am. And when we can and know completely without like a shadow doubt, because we keep shining lights within ourselves, then when we see other, we can recognize shadows, we can recognize authenticity, and we hold space for each other And that really simple desiring of economy, because, okay, I'll say this because it's like a little bit cliched, but whatever, it's worth like going over. If if no one had jobs, everyone would work. That is obvious. It's just, what's work? What do you feel driven to do? I feel driven to do nothing. Then that is your work. Like, there is no, it's not a hippy dippy notion. It's, in fact, classically moronic to conclude that jobs are the driving force of our economy, that agriculture, that all these industries, the driving force of our economy. It's all actually a really well described lie, and that hinges upon no one paying attention and no one looking too closely, and hinges upon like a lesser understanding of a grander scale of being upon which we all are. And we don't have to talk this way with everyone, because nobody really wants to talk this way. That's cool. We're going to hang out with the people that like to talk like us, or at least just like the way that we talk makes us laugh. It's like, I don't know what the fuck you just said, bro, but you're cool. It's like, I'm talking to myself, what up? You know what I mean? But it takes letting go of the irretrievable, which is the interest, which is really just what we thought we were going to get. And we don't need. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Obviously, that's the Marsupius comment that I'm laughing at. Oh, man. Exactly. Even the ones that know it don't know it. Is the picture crooked or the frame? Better? You to Tam. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So I think that, well, let me listen. I think that that's it. But it's also like, do it now. And I feel like it's worthy of one more like re-expression. So I like kind of led this with Robbin Peter, Pay Paul, with a little Robin Hood reference there too, for like the additional enjoyment. Now, why I especially even did that, because it is what I thought of. But Robbin Peter to Pay Paul. Well, what's Paul mean? Paul means small, from the root of like meaning like few and little. Peter's stone. And there was something else, because like it was Paul was originally like Saul. I think Paul was originally Saul. Because you can't bleed a stone. Robbin Peter to pay Paul. And in like a backwards economy, it kind of, and in like a weird divine sense, almost like we have an obligation to our children, and the children can be all of the future. So we're the children, we will be the children, and we were the children. And robbing the stone to pay the few. The stone, I'm thinking cornerstone, you know, show me the cracked stone and I'll show you the key, like the cornerstone of like our temple, you know, like the stone is what we are. The stone is where we are. And we're rubbing it to pay the small, to make the small big. Instead of growing. And it hasn't been right. When we go like deep within and everywhere without, and meet the worst aspects of like our greater selves, even like it doesn't, like even like the worst aspects that we need not even identify with, but just exist as in adversary to whatever this whole cosmic love game is. Let's let's say that we could roll back time and change how that conversation ended up, and then forevermore, time will ripple forward in a more healing and like abundant way, and wherever we are, that ripple lands now. You can change the past, and it will always reflect itself immediately in the moment. And that's an easy way to understand that. It's just if like I used to think my dad was a mean son of a bitch, and then I learned that he was a coward. So then I could like look back at his whole life and understand that, you know, he was hurt and and weak, and not in like a not in like a children way, in like a sickly kid kind of way. And all of his pain and fear and everything eked out is, you know, part of the reason that he is who he is. And I still don't like him, and I don't think that any of that's an excuse for his character. But I've changed the past, and I change the past every time I look at him and my relationship differently, because my past used to be an asshole father, you know, that for whatever reason hated me. But now I never had that father. I always had a father struggling to be alive, to be a father. And that changes everything. That changes who he's always been to me now. But it doesn't, and it can't change all the time we spent under like the veils of those other understandings, where it'll never change the time spent being under duress, being in pain. And asking for more than that is somebody else's interest, and if it's good, and if it has to be our own, then there's no other stone from which it can come from, because we're already here, and the future of us get to live with. They don't have to know. They don't have to have integrated and pulled apart and fragmented and then reformed that story of the monster. So long as we don't pass that debt on to them. So in a way, refusing to pay, I think it's time that we moved into accepting our losses is a hard pill to swallow. Like accepting that there's no way for us to get back from any sense of being owed outside of this moment. And and then separately, there's the additional acceptance and forgiveness of I don't know. It's like it's a practice of being like, it's okay, don't pay, and I don't know. Words really fail me in this moment. It's hard to explain, right? At the precipice of balancing accounts. Imagine the lender and the debtor both feeling outed, and not even in injustice or malice, but like feeling indebted to the honor of each other. Each a little bit feeling the obligation, the responsibility to never forget. And so the navigation of forgiving and forgetting is a little perilous. And also each other, which are reminders, like basically good and evil, the angel and the devil, right? Of both of them being like, I wish there was a way that I could I could give you your interest. The devil to the angel to the devil. And so it's multifaceted. It doesn't have to be in moving through the like monetary system as an economy. That's actually quite simple. Kind and courteous communication in responsibility would be how I'd sum it. But emotionally, which is the only way that we can move forward, because the truth is the truth is more ordinary than fiction, and stranger than the ordinary. And there are going to be varying levels of people's participation in like willingness to accept shy anything drastic on like a global scale that I'm not even going to pretend to try and like guess is going to imagine. I couldn't be fucked. I'm super good at just dealing with things as they happen. Because that's easy. The hard part is when you want to make things happen. The hard part is accepting things that have happened and then putting out what you wish to happen because you're ready for it. This was really lovely. I'm really glad that I followed through on my inspiration to discuss it with you. Yeah. And you know what, hun? Like I want to venture that okay, first of all, I love bumpy rides. Like I was the kid, I have fond memories, the back of the station wagon, like being like, go over the bumps. And long rides are better than short rides. And I'm not going to even begin to fathom any kind of experience that isn't more of a fun time adventure than what I've already surmounted, because that is what I ask of our future. That is what I ask of our healing. And that is what I insist upon. Otherwise, no one moves forward. Like it's like there is no long bumpy ride that isn't fucking awesome. Otherwise, we're sitting right here. No, hurdles will get in our way. No, because like we're great jumpers and legit, we fly. I'm with you 100%. There is actually like it's only fun times now. And every fun time, I think, rightly, is kind of, I don't know. I want fun times right now. And this was the thing that I saw that's needed from us and could be done just like we have in this moment. And the massive scale is going to be a manageable flow in my estimation. Like it'll be massive come 100 years from now when we're all still looking more or less like this, or better, younger, older, however we want to look, stronger and more alive. And eventually, like, but I'm really down for like whatever happens on a massive scale. I want goodness, kindness, smiles, laughter, maybe the beach or some mountains, definitely forests. You know, I want that to be my small scale family, like neighbors, making things, getting along for each other, with each other, as each other, together. Whatever happens on the massive, let's make that our missive. Okay. I think that's it, huh? It's a missive. I miss you. I miss you. I missed you, and I'm glad. I'm not even gonna say it. Okay, I'll say it, but like it's like, oh yeah, I get like leaving to come back because missing's good. But I'm like, fuck that. There's not enough has come back yet for me to feel that way. It's like I'm done with missing. Let's just get together and have good times. Let's put missing into the next epoch. All right. Thank you for your hearts. Thank you for together. Thank you for braving everything. Thanks for smiling with me and laughing with me and feeling with me. And for for all the ways that we're different. Thank you for that too. I am anticipating some really fun developments by the end of the year. And I, for myself, am moving into a time where I'm really inviting you and all the other yous to like let's do it. Let's do it together. I'm inviting you to feel reasonably empowered to change our world in the manner by which you live in it. And the reasonability of like the dominance of good, the fallibility of stupid, and that every like estimated hurdle is just that, an obstacle determined only by the feet of the height that we leap. /PS. We can go around hurdles too. Like we don't even have to jump over them. We can go under them. We can like, but it doesn't have to be someday. It can be now, because we've all been doing our part to get to it'll be someday. That day is now. And so I'm inviting like doing. Thanks for doing it with me. Thanks for more. Nevertheless, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I want to see go every waterfall too. I want to jump from every one of them. And maybe every like grotto. Oh, Tabs. Yeah. Oh, right. I can't wait. I think that better than that, 'cause I don't really want to live where I live. Let's pick, like, let's like triangulate, and let's just pick a spot where we both want to be, and then both start walking there. Namaste, right? Fuck. I reckon we're going through another bout of seeing more of each other, and that means you too, and you as well, and also the other. I really mean it. It's easy to say I love you. People say it too often, and I've never said it emptily. I've never said it without my entire fullness. But for me, it was like first perceived as like a qualitative thing. Like I love you as much as you know, that love has an opportunity to flower within our relationship. Like that's what love is. So people really shouldn't just say I love you, but you know what it sounds like when people say I love you, and they're like, they love me every single time. So I love you. It's true. And and like, because our groups are so tiny right now, I really truly hope that that love gets to find its way all the way to more than we could even think of you. All right. Yeah, it's simple. You're a really good teacher of it. Okay, all right. I'm gonna do something else too. But whatever it is, even if you're not seeing it, it's still with you. I love you. Thank you for everything. And more, never less. Peace.